All right, if you just joined us, we're discussing the preparedness of our youth to occupy leadership roles as 2023 draws close. And please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation by tweeting at us at WAYSSHOW Africa 1 with the hashtag WAYSSHOW, or send an SMS to our WhatsApp number, which is on your screen right now. Okay, so we continue the conversation with Temi. You were about to ask a follow-up question.
Yes, thank you, Sansi. So he mentioned that, one of the things which I think is a strong point, which young people can do, is crowdfunding. And that, would help, especially financial power. Although, well, we could do some crowdfunding. I think it's great anyways. But now my follow-up question is with respect to, I think a lot has been said about how if you have funds, it then seems that, okay, that part of the challenge is eliminated. But how do you take care of the part of the, electoral malpractices, violence in election, rigging of election? Now, let me put some context to this. I saw a movie. This was, I think, last year by Kate Henshaw.
All right, I know the movie.
Kate Henshaw was featured in the movie. I can't remember the name of the movie. And, the political party that had the wrong values, was winning the elections and things like that because it was mad with irregularities. There was violence. There was rigging the election. So even when we say go out and vote, some people will say, do our votes really count? I agree that we should get our PVC and know that at least you try. I'm for that. And that's why I voted in the last elections. But then, in this movie, we found that the other political party, who was involved in irregularities, they were going ahead to lead in elections and everything. Now, what the political party that had the right values, in quotes, did was that even when they found that they had the people's support, they were voted for, and they still didn't get in. They then went ahead to get people to rig the elections as well. So it's like we won normally. We won the people's support. We won the people's votes. But then they didn't let us because they rigged the election. They could go ahead to kill people, and they couldn't go to such extreme standards. So what they did was they also rigged. So it was counter-rigging, and that's like wrongs and wrongs. And that still looks to me like plain dirty. So do you think that we could actually play clean? I mean, honest standard, honest values, go ahead with elections, have these upright standards, upright values, and still, win, come out victorious. Do you think there's a possibility for that?
And yes, Temi, sorry, before you add to that, I would also like to add that in the movie, there was this subtext of, at the end of the day, you must play dirty. Because the woman wanted to stand upright, but at the end of the day, someone went behind her back to bribe the judges to rule in her favor. So you can go ahead.
Okay, tell me who rigs election? Who takes away the ballot boxes? It is not the old people. So if the youth want to take over this country, after they have done their crowdfunding and have the funds, part of the strategy is to say enough is enough. You are not going to send me to go and kill somebody or snatch ballot box whilst during the election, a few days to the elections, you've moved your family out of the country and you are giving me guns like I'm going to war to go and fight. The day the old people don't have young people to send to go and kill, to snatch ballot boxes, to rig elections, then they will know that something different has come to them. Until that, forget it.
Do you think we will ever get to a place where, because I think you're painting a system where everybody will be good, every young person will be great, nobody will rig the elections. I'm talking about the people who are committed to, to good governance. I think there will always be people with wrong motives.
Yeah.
And so you're painting a scenario where everybody will be good. Now, I think we will still always have to deal with people who will, go at the back to do wrong things.
No,
but in this system where
I'm not painting a picture of where everybody will be good. There is nowhere in the world where everybody will be good. Then else you run the devil out of business. But I am saying we are talking about youth preparedness. The generality of the youth must say enough is enough. They must also be ready to educate the people. They must also be ready to come out. Don't sit on social media and vote. Go to your village. I am from Benue State. My voter voting center is not even in the state capital. It is in my village. And if you go to my village, it's not in the local government headquarters. It is inside my village. So I am there. And I can tell you that in the last election, there was no rigging at my polling booth because I was there. Even the elders who were there, when after the voting and they say, okay, since the turnout wasn't plenty, let's share votes amongst the candidates. I said no. Destroy the remaining voters' cards, the ballot papers. Destroy them. Let what was voted be the count. So the young people who know and who have the wherewithal should go back to their homes. Charity begins at home. But you stay on Facebook, you stay on Twitter, you are voting. You are not ready. In fact, even in 2027, I can tell you that even 2027, the youth.
All right, so you talked about social media, and yes, a lot of times the youth have been accused of just talking on social media. So the question now is, does online discussions increase political participation?
Yes, they do.
Okay, so why, if it does, why do we constantly rule it out and make it look like a bad thing that a lot of youths are online getting involved in politics?
They create awareness.
Okay.
But whilst you and I are discussing on Twitter, the old brigade is meeting morning, afternoon, night, and in the middle of the night. They are strategizing. They are saying, okay, you are on social media. Have you taken a look at, say, Etiosa local government? What has been the voting pattern in the last 10, 15 years?
Yes.
Where and where do we capture? You will not capture that on social media. You will capture that from engaging the people, moving around with them, engaging them. That is the strategy that we are talking about. That is the process.
So when you said that you cannot capture that, I find that I don't find that to be true, because we do have journalists, and these people, it is their job to bring out information to the public. And let's assume that you are right. There must be a way for us to marry online participation and physical participation. I mean, we saw NSAS, we saw how that played out.
How many journalists, you are in the media, how many journalists have you seen that have given us a synopsis or a detailed report of the last election, say, in Nigeria in the past 10, 15, 20 years? How many journalists have come out with such an analysis?
I know I've read history, watched a couple of... But, well, these are things that we are working to change, right? But yes. I think with even the information that is out there, I think we should do a lot more on our part to at least read this information. Like, I know there are a couple of journalists on Twitter who put out information, statistics, tell you things about Nigeria, tell you things about your local government. I follow a couple of Igbo journalists, because I'm Igbo, right, who tell you certain things about certain parts of my state, which I may not have access to, right? So, yeah, go on. So,
but now when it comes to the election, how many of the... First of all, when it comes to... I'll give you an instance. There was no media coverage at my polling unit, even during the governorship election. But before then, a journalist had called me that he was allocated to cover my polling unit because I was a governorship candidate. He never showed up on the election day. He will call somebody in that village who will give him whatever he wants to give him, whatever story he wants to give him. And he will publish it. That was what happened. So
would you blame the journalist?
Yes, because he did not do his job.
How do you know? How do you know he did not do his job? Do you know if he was at another place? Because quite frankly, a lot of media stations are understaffed.
But I'm telling you that he called me and said he was allocated to my polling booth, and he didn't show up. So where was he? And I was there till before voting started, till it ended, till the votes were counted and taken.
I'm sorry, I would like to plead the case for him. If he was allocated to your polling booth, perhaps that wasn't the only one. Perhaps he was allocated to maybe 3 or 4 within the area. It is possible. But anyway, Tell me, you are still a part of this conversation.
Yes, I'm following. I'm
Okay.
following. I'd just like to ask him his thoughts on, again, I think it still goes back to some financial independence. I
Yeah.
find that one of the tools that, politicians use against citizens is poverty.
Yeah.
It's just really just using poverty against them. So you find that when it comes to elections, people sell their votes for really little things. It could be as little as rice, or
That's
or even
plenty.
things that are smaller,
That's
or
plenty.
things like that. And so you spoke about crowdfunding as a means of, of empowering youth. Perhaps we could just all come together, pool resources together, and just sponsor political parties that we believe in or that we value. But then, do you feel that if we do this, do you feel that it will cater for those situations? And there are a lot of those situations where people are being, what's the word now? People are being bullied, or they're being convinced to sell their votes for things like rice and things like that. Do you think that it will mean that the young people, when we pull these resources together, for example, it will mean that we also will now start to also give rice, we'll start to give beans, we'll start to go to these communities? Or do you think that it is actually enough, very practically? Do you think it's enough to go to communities and just go and sensitize them, just go and encourage them, help them to see the value of elections and all those things? Do you think that would actually be enough? Because I think there's a lot of what you're saying is how that we need to inform one another. We need to go back to our places and go and inform them. But do you think information and pleading this case would be enough? Or would we need to extend those hands, and do those things that the other people are doing?
Well, it may be enough, it may not be enough, but it is a starting point. You get what I mean? You don't expect that the old brigade will fight you, so it may not be enough, but it is a starting point. You are starting from somewhere. One person wins election, tomorrow another person wins, and then when that person gets into, that's why I talked about honest people, transparent people. One person gets into the office, he tries to do the little he can do. Tomorrow another person gets in. Look, even the old brigade, the ones that are not politicians, they are tired. Some of them are tired of what their fellow old brigades have done, and they are willing to support you. They are willing to go to their village and tell the people that, look, it's better you put your vote for Temi, because yes, Temi does not have rice to give you today, but what Temi is going to go and do will give you the opportunity to have your own rice instead of begging people for rice. We are not saying that 2023 must change dramatically and it must be a total change. That would be a very serious revolution. No, it mustn't be a total change, but we should start from somewhere. But are we prepared to start from somewhere? As it is today, I see this crystal ball in front of me, and the crystal ball is telling me that no, we are not even ready to start from somewhere come 2023. That's what I am saying. That's what I'm saying. So we must start. Okay, maybe if we start, we do some crowdfunding, we say, okay, maybe we are not able to clinch governorship, but go to the state assembly. You go to a state assembly where there are 30 members. The effort of the youth has made sure that 15 people are young people from their camp, not from the camp of the godfathers. You will see that if there are 3 people from the camp of the godfathers and you have 15 people from an independent camp, the influence of the 15 people will make the 3 people either join the 15 people or will make them to be careful that, hey, there is something happening. That is the revolution we are talking about. It's a gradual process. It's a gradual. Leadership has failed us. The truth of it is that leadership has failed us. Our fathers have failed us. They have done so many things. They've destroyed our tomorrow. Some of them feel they have enough money that will take care of their children who will not participate in the process. So, We must fix it ourselves. We must call the shot. We must tell them what we want. If we have 51.11% of the voting population, we should be able to have a voice. We should be able to have a voice and say, look, come 2023, this is how we want it. Let's negotiate. It's okay, you want to be this. We will support you, but we are only supporting you for X, Y reason. I'm not even sure if some people know that in the Constitution, you can recall people. People are not aware. Then if you don't have people in the State Assembly, for instance, that can call the governor to order, there is a problem. Reason, the people who are there have been fixed by the godfather who has fixed the governor, who is also the godfather to the governor. So he's going to call his boys in the middle of the night and say, hey, that motion you people are bringing up, I want it to die tomorrow morning. It will die. But if the godfather cannot call 15 people out of 30 people, he is going to be weary. That is what I'm saying. We must start a revolution, and we need the funding. Aside the mental liberation, we need the funding.
All right, so you're all up for crowdfunding. Let's take some messages.
Not just crowdfunding.
I mean, it's one of the ways.
Yeah, yes,
financial liberation. Yes,
an effective way too.
An effective way. I do agree. All right, I'll take a message, and then Temi, I think you have a couple as well. So
yes.
Everyone should get a PVC and move from talking on social media. Some ask, would our votes count at all? I respond, if it wouldn't count, why are they bribing you to vote for them? Exactly. The young are the ones keeping the wrong people in government. Exactly. Over 70% of Nigerians of voting age are below age 40. Just vote. Stay at your polling booth to count and match with the results when they read it. Rigging would be super difficult if people did this. We get the leaders we deserve, whether by voting them or by not participating. That's from Kuro John Ngobo in Lagos.
Yes, thank you, John. And that is spot on. If you go to the polling booth, what happens at the polling booth is, okay, for instance, if I wasn't there, you heard someone tell me in my polling booth that let's share the votes. Now, whatever proportion it was going to share. But if you are at the polling booth, vote and stay there. The people who are coming to come and snatch the ballot box don't have two heads.
They don't have two heads, but they do have weapons, and you do not have anything. And some of these polling booths do not have security. I'll let you get to that. Let's have this message from Temi, please.
Okay.
All right. So there's this comment from Raphael Akori Zaria, and this person says, in a situation where leaders have decided to celebrate criminality, as we are witnessing today in this country, and the youth are the tool used by leaders to remain relevant in the political space. Even the present youth occupying political offices are bad examples of our future leaders that will take to our El Dorado. Honestly, the current youth are not ready to lead this country. So that's an opinion from Raphael Akori Zaria.
Okay.
The next one here is from Kuro John Ngobo. He says, if stomach infrastructure is such a big deal to you, collect their monies and election gifts and vote who you will. Mindset, that's the issue.
Exactly.
So he says, let them take the money. And I have a comment on this, but then I'll take the next one ahead of my comment. So this person says that most of the youthful candidates in the last elections have also been very silent on the level of poor governance of the present administration. How do they expect us to listen or believe in them during campaign if they are silent now? I don't know who, the person's name is not here, but I see the feedback here.
Yeah, but that's
so Sandy, can I just go ahead or?
Okay, ahead with all the messages. Okay, so another says, hello Ways. Big strategy for 2023 would be the ability to, 1, organize to raise funds, demonstrate transparent accountability. This ability was exhibited during NSAS. The second one is those willing to contest must begin now and make themselves visible and engage the entire system before 2023. And final comment before I let you give a comment. That was from Benson. The next one says, there was a clear lack of harmony amongst the youthful presidential candidates in the last election. Will it be any different come 2023? You go ahead.
Okay, so I was trying to tell you that what happens at the polling booth is if you are there and you are able to protect your votes. I'll tell you what I did in 2015. I was supporting one of the candidates in 2015, and after the elections were done at my polling unit, I looked around and saw the guys who had come in, the Okada men, and I gave them money because INEC did not make provisions for the electoral officers to transport, to move the results from the polling booths to the collation center. I paid about 13 bikes money to escort the election to the polling center. They surrounded the guys. Their bike was in the middle. They surrounded the guys and escorted them to the collation center. The people who come to attack don't come from planet Mars. They are within the locality, so they know them. So when they come to a place and they are known, they are careful. If they come and meet resistance, they will go back. But if a polling unit has 2,000 registered voters and 200 people come out to vote, you have left room for rigging. You have left room for somebody to come. Then when you vote, you go back. When you vote, you go back. Well,
so that means...
Yeah, well, for the presidential candidates the young presidential candidates for 2015, 2019, I don't know why they did what they did. So, no comment on that. I don't know why they did what they did.
I think sometimes we get it wrong when you say dream big. You forget to put in the underground work, you know. But anyway, I hear you. Delayed gratification. We need to put in the work and do a lot of crowdfunding.
Yeah.
And a lot of other effective. But Temi, I'll let you put in your final word before we are almost about to wrap the show.
Okay. I think, I don't have a lot of time. So I would just say that for me, looking at 2023 election, 2017, 2027 elections and the likes, there's some discouragement. But I saw a quote somewhere that I find to be very helpful. And it says that hope is not a strategy, but hope is needed for every strategy. So I keep the hope alive, and I'm very interested in having people that will lead us who are interested in good governance. So yes, I'm ready for it. I am ready to vote the right people. I'm ready to vote people I believe in, and I'll keep up the hope. There's a lot of discouragement. Our guest has painted a lot of way forwards and some good things that we could see. But when you look at some of the facts, when you look at people who are, at the polling votes and you hear of the violence and some of those things, it's really discouraging. But I'll just say to everyone who's listening that we must keep hope alive. Hope is not the strategy, but hope is needed.
Yes, we keep hoping. And Mr. John, I do like, Mr. Tseayo, honestly, I do like the point you made about financial liberation and mental liberation. I think we're at that place where these are the two things like really, really crippling us. We need to work on it and then get right role models. Don't just run up to any godfather you feel that has the money. Look for people with transparency, people with good characters who can guide you in the right path towards our political ambitions. So thank you, sir, for being our guest on the show. I'm afraid we can't take any more comments from you because we're just about wrapping up the show, but good luck with the rest of your political aspirations, right?
Thank you.
All right, so
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. WAYSS was birthed from the need to inform, inspire, influence lives towards action, and this year we started our CSR, which is focused on curbing unemployment in Nigeria. If you are a company, please partner with us by allocating internship slots. And if you're a job seeker, keep watching WAYSS and follow us on all our social media handles. This will be an all year round engagement. So tell a friend to keep all eyes on WAYSS. Now, in case you missed today's quote, here it is. If you believe you can accomplish everything by cramming at the 11th hour, then by all means, don't lift a finger now. But you may think twice about beginning to build your ark once it has already started raining. That's by Max Brooks. What's your comment about that quote?
Excellent quote. And 11th hour, why cram when you
Yeah. Definitely.
it's there must be a sequential step and order.
I absolutely agree. Don't rush all things. All right. So thank you so much. See you tomorrow, Thursday, here on WAYSS. Have a beautiful night rest. God bless you.